Hello everyone. Hello. I would like to say thank you so much for tuning into Carol's Daily Sauce. Today this will be a recording. I won't be showing my face. Today was a lazy day, you guys. I had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of homework and stuff, and sometimes when I do homework, I I end up not really getting 100% dressed, and I wouldn't want to do that to you guys. I mean, plus you guys, I had to take my braids out. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to be reminded of each and every video that I upload. Thank you so much for tuning in. What we are talking about on today is we are doing a reaction actually to the former police officer who killed an unarmed black man. I want to say that her name is Amber Guyger. And so I usually keep up on everything, although I am in like really deep into about 5 or 6 weeks into my school. So I don't have a lot of time to read. I don't have a lot of, other than read my books. Other than study. But I do periodically, you know, when I go to bed, my husband and I look at TV and we kind of go over things that we've read or seen on the internet. Long story short, Amber Guyger is a Caucasian police officer. And what Amber had did one day is she was coming home from work. She had come home from work. She lives in an apartment complex. And Amber actually had worked, I guess, a double shift. She had been working a lot of hours, was very, very tired, and ended up entering a unit of someone by the name of Botham Jean. This was in September of 2018. So this is just last year. What particularly happened is she entered into what she thought to be was her own unit, her own apartment unit, which was one floor below where she actually lived. And it was Botham Jean's apartment. And she mistook him for a burglar. Guyger had just gotten off duty, had finished a long shift, fired 2 shots at Jean as Jean was watching TV and eating ice cream. After a 7-day trial, the jury rejected Guyger's self-defense claim and delivered what Jean, the guy's family, attorneys are calling a historic event. Now, I want you to understand that the gentleman that got murdered, because he did get killed, his name is Botham Jean. I believe he's not from the United States. But you guys, I want you guys to understand that when I bring these things to you, I am not bringing them to you, these stories and commentary to you. I am not bringing them to you in an effort to plot black against white, Caucasian against Hispanic. I'm not doing that at all, because that's really not what this is about. What I'm doing is I'm bringing justice stories, guys, bringing justice to the forefront. And in this particular case, a lot of activists, a lot of black activists, a lot of Black Lives Matter activists have gotten involved in this case because there has been an alarming amount of African Americans who have been murdered at the hands of Caucasian police officers for whatever reason. Mistaken identity. This particular case where supposedly Amber Guyger entered a whole floor under what she usually works on. She was that tired. So you were not tired enough to drive home. You drove home. You drove to your house, But once you got in the house, you were too tired to realize that the furniture was not yours. You were too tired to realize that I don't get it. I don't get it. She mistook Botham Jean for a burglar. Now, all of us have heard burglars coming in and eating food, okay? But I'm quite sure if Botham Jean was looking at TV, it was probably very comfortable. Maybe there's a possibility they had some words or something. I don't know, because this is really my first time hearing the story. Amber Guyger faces a sentence of up to 5 years to life in prison without the possibility of probation. She has asked the jury and the family to forgive her. However, because so much is going on by way of African Americans being murdered by the police officers, the family, Botham Jean's family, is not really having it. They're not really having it. And I just want to say this. I believe the reason it's so much of a problem is because you see, unfortunately, black against black attacking one another. We attack one another with words, we attack one another with fists, we attack one another and kill one another with guns, but we're not the only nationality that does that. There are so many other nationalities that do the same things. Caucasians fight one another, Hispanics fight one another, we fight together. But for some reason, the African American race, it's like everything we do is in the limelight. And this is why the movement of Black Lives Matter has come to the forefront, because we got tired, they got tired of seeing so many of our uncles, of our brothers, of our sons, of our cousins, of our nephews, got so tired of seeing so many of their loved ones being murdered. There was here in California, in Sacramento, California, a young man by the name of Stephen, I can't remember his name, but the young man, it was a very similar story to this one. The young man was murdered going into his grandmother's house. And what the police officer said is that they thought that a burglary was taking place. Well, come to find out, the grandmother that Stephen was actually living with actually had him enter the back of the house to come in. But Stephen ended up getting murdered. His brother, who is his younger brother, ended up having a nervous breakdown as a result of it, and went off the actual deep end, got his own self in trouble, and is now serving time in jail as he lost his brother. But we just have to really, really, really get to a point where it's not only that Black lives matter, all lives matter. Do I believe that this situation is something that will change police officers? No, because this is one woman who ended up being found guilty. I just think that this was only a 7-day trial, and the jury, like I said, rejected her self-defense claim. Now, she used the self-defense claim that she thought it was a burglar in the house, although he wasn't stealing anything. He was sitting in his own apartment eating ice cream. Now, after 7 days, they found her guilty. So obviously the evidence stacked against her, y'all got to understand, you're talking to a criminal justice major. The evidence that was stacked against her was obviously very thick, because in the justice system, in the criminal courts, the most important thing is this: innocent until proven guilty, okay? But the second most important thing is getting a case, getting a verdict as soon as possible. So they did this in 6 days. In 6 days, she was found guilty. And it's a historic decision because she is a white woman. I'm blown away by it. And I just wanted to let you guys know that after this happened in September, early September of 2018, there were protests, and it's been like that. It's been like that. You know, we had the black man who was selling cigarettes, and they jumped on him and killed him, and he had an asthma attack. I mean, sooner rather than later, we have to fight for our rights, and we have to fight for our rights to live. People have to stop looking at our lives as not being valued. Now, it does say that Amber Guyger offered a tearful defense and repeatedly apologized on the same Friday. And what she said was that I shot an innocent man. I shot an innocent man. And I don't understand. I'm trying to see, from what I can understand, she was fired from the police force shortly after she killed Botham Jean. She was exhausted and scared when she went inside the unit that she thought was her own. She opened the door and seen a silhouette figure in the dark apartment and feared for her life. She says that Jean walked toward her after she asked to see his hands. And I guess when he didn't show his hands, she shot him. And by her own admission, she claims that she was shooting to kill. Because she believed that she was in her own home, her lawyers argued that she was within her rights and acting in self-defense. They say that it is a series of horrible mistakes. It's an awful, tragic mistake, but that it was an innocent one. Well, we will be finding out what happens as far as Amber Guyger's sentence, because the way it looks, she most definitely will be going to jail. The one thing about it is this. There is a controversial law, and this particular law is called Stand Your Ground. I am not sure if this law is applicable in all states. However, the Stand Your Ground law is when you feel in danger in your own house, you have the authority to use the gun. But I am willing to bet part of the reason that she was found guilty is because, first and foremost, the facts were stacked against her. It just blows me away that you could drive home from work. I don't care how far away it is. You had enough oomph in you to get in the car and drive home from work, but you didn't know which apartment was yours. I'm quite sure, unless these were furnished apartments, I'm quite sure that he had different furniture than what she had as well. Any reasonable person, as they said in court, would have noticed that the apartment numbers read 1478 rather than 1378. And so Botham Jean had a red doormat, and I'm quite sure that she should have known that. For some reason, I have a hard time believing that she felt like she was in the wrong apartment. I believe that there's a good possibility that she thought maybe she was going to get away with it. Maybe they had some disagreements or something, in the past. Amber went on to say that she can't sleep, she can't eat. It's been the most horrible time for her. Well, could you imagine how his family must feel? It's a horrible time for them too, because you know what? They will never be able to have their loved one again. She wanted to say that she's not a racist. I hate when Caucasian people say they're racist. They're not racist, because 9 times out of 10, if a Caucasian person points out that they're not a racist, they're a racist. She's expected to take the stand once again when her sentencing comes together. And this is what I wanted to tell you guys. Reading this particular story, I'm going to read to you a few of the names of African Americans that we have lost at the hands of Caucasian police officers. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Tamar Rice, Eric Garner, Antoine Rose. Those are among of the few people who were unarmed, brown and black human beings who ended up losing their life as a result of some bogus, ridiculous excuse that police officers tend to use. They need to stop hiding behind the badge and be realistic with themselves, because what's going to end up happening, this is going to open the door for a lot of other people to be vindicated rightfully for having lost their family members at the hand of someone, a police officer, who is supposed to protect and serve. With that being said, I'd like that you go ahead and put some comments down in the comments section. Let me know of anything that you would like to read, like for me to read, would like for me to expound on. I do reaction videos, I do reviews. I do want to apologize to you all for not doing the review on the September BoxyCharm box. I did not receive it. I was supposed to be getting a replacement. I have chosen to cancel my subscription with BoxyCharm because it's just too much ridiculousness. We are going to be having a lot of things in this Vlogtober. I am now researching, I'm going to do a cotton candy look with eyeshadow. I'm going to be doing some how-to makeup looks. I'm going to be doing some get ready with me's. I will be doing a lot more cook with me's. I will be doing a lot of reaction videos, but that depends on what comes out. I actually have been looking at a lot of other YouTubers and seeing if there are things that I can react on, because I am not stuck in a box to where I only want to do reaction videos on the 3. So with that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't forget to click on the bell to be reminded of all the videos I upload. Also, remember to share, because sharing is caring. And I so thank you guys for just being supportive of me, for always coming back, for always leaving me comments. I even appreciate those that leave the raggedy comments, because then you give me an opportunity to decide whether or not I want to like your comment, whether or not I want to ignore your comment, or whether or not I want to share some words of wisdom for you. You guys be blessed and be encouraged. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye-bye.